Hi, this is Dr. Trina Gregory, and I'm just going to do a quick video on how to help configure PyCharm and create your PyCharm and then also submit your homework assignments for ITP 115. So first we need to open up PyCharm. So I will share my screen and you hopefully can open up PyCharm as well. I think that's helpful. And what we're going to do is create a new project. So I already have some other projects created. That's fine. Let's open up a new project. And this is what it looks like on the Mac. It might look a little bit different on Windows, or if you have an older version of PyCharm, you might see above the location a project name. So the way it is here, this is the project name and location at the same time. So we do not want to use the defaults here. We want to find a location that is easy to find. So the first thing we're going to do is click way over to the right and where you see this little folder icon. And you should see it, whether it's Mac or Windows, you should see something like that. And then this is where we're going to decide where we're going to create our project. So I suggest finding something that's easy to find, like documents or desktop are great choices here. Documents, desktop, or even something like a Google Drive or something that you can see in your favorites. Okay, so I'm going to use documents. Please do not use downloads. So downloads is a folder that is temporary. So do not use downloads. Use something like documents, desktops, or Google or iCloud or something like that, like OneDrive. Okay, now I'm selecting documents. I'm going to hit open. And now I want to make sure that I do it in ITP 115. So I could have back there said create a new folder, or I can just do a / because I'm on a Mac and just type ITP 115. If you're on a Windows, you're going to do a / and you also, depending on which version, you may see above here a project name. This is where you're going to put ITP 115. Okay. In this version, it has it all in one. Now we're going to uncheck the get repository, uncheck, create a welcome script. You're going to select, so if it has project VNV, so that's a project environment. We're going to select custom environment. We're going to make sure that instead of environment generate new, we're going to say select existing. The type is going to be Python. And then this is where we need to know where the Python path is for Python, where it's been actually where it's located on our computer. You should see this little browse, like this little folder icon in Mac or Windows. You should see something like that. So in Mac, it has this soft link here in user local bin Python 3.3. So that's what we want to select, right? So if you are on a Mac, you're going to want to select something like that. And if you have an earlier version of Python, as long as it's something like 3.10 and above, you're great. So that's what we are going to use. Now, if you have a Windows, it's going to be something like C:\/ users/ your username that you use to log into your computer / app data / local / program / Python / then Python 313. So that is generally that's the default location where it does it on a Windows machine. So you're going to select a different path. Now that you have this, we are going to hit create. And this is going to create it's going to create it for us, which is great. It's just what we need. Okay. Now that we have this folder, we need to create. Now I'm just following the install instructions, but it's setting up your project. So we're going to right click and say new directory. And this is where you're going to either call it homework or homeworks. This is what you're going to create. That's where you're going to put your homeworks. I'm going to go back to ITP 115, say directory, file, new directory, and we're going to have one for labs. I'm gonna go click back up there and say new directory and do one for lectures as well. And because I post all of my sample code, you can put that right in there. Now for homeworks, so now we've set it up. That's great. It works. Now for homeworks, I'm going to go to our homework instructions, and you'll see that the first step is to open your existing ITP 115. And that's what we've done. We just set it up. We now have done this. And the great thing is if I close, so if I come up here to like file and close project, now you see that I have this project called ITP 115. All I have to do is click on it every time and it's going to open you up into that project. So that's great. Now the next step in the homework assignment is to, under the homeworks directory, which we have, create a new directory. So we're going to go in here, say file, new directory, homework 1 underscore, you're going to put your last name and your first name. I'm literally going to put last underscore first, but you are actually going to put your last and your first name. So that's what we want. We want a directory right like that. That's step 2. And now step 3 says create a Python file. So called homework 1. So now we're going to right click. And when I mean right click, because if you just single click on it, it won't do anything. But right click is the 2-finger separated click. You may also have a hot key, like our hot button, like in like a corner of the touchpad. That's what we affectionately call the right click, because we actually used to use a mouse that had the main click and the primary click and the secondary click. So this is also known as the secondary click. So there we go, right click or secondary click. Then we're going to say new Python file. And here we're just going to put homework 1 all lowercase. And your name also was all lowercase. And this is just something that is that we would like you to do, is just use all lowercase. It's easier for us if it's all lowercase. So now that you've done that, this is where you're actually going to put your code in, right, for homework 1. And step 4 says that you are going to you need your comments, right? So you can copy the blue text. So you can actually copy it from there and paste it using, if you're on a Windows, you'll say control, you'll hold down the control key and C for copy. If on your Mac, you hold down the command key and C for copy. So I've done that. There we go. And now we just follow the instructions step by step. For all the homework assignments, what does it tell you to do next? It tells you to, create 3 string variables. So I'm just going to put some comments in there, but you are actually then going to come in here and put your code, right? And I'm also showing you just a quick how some nice simple comments, right? I now need to do 3 int variables. So I'm going to put 3 int variables, then put the code. You're going to put the code and then create a Boolean variable. Just going to say var there. You can even use that. That was step 7. And then step 8, you are going to print text or display text to the user, right? Display text to user. That's user output. You could also just say user output. And that's where we're going to use the print function, right? So I'm just going to say print hello homework 1 just so we can see something. But you actually follow the instructions. We've done that. I've shown you examples of code of commenting. So that was step 12 in homework 1. We test our program. We're going to come up here to the play. We're going to play it. There we go. We have our homework 1. You're going to test it with yours, making sure it matches the sample output. And now we need to prepare our submission. So this is in homework 1, it's step 14, but I'm going to go over the last basically 2 steps in the homeworks, where we need to find our folder and compress it. If you remember where your folders are, right, you can actually open up your Finder, right? So I can open up my Finder here, my Finder app, or if you're on a Windows, you're going to do your Explorer app. Finder looks like a little happy face. Explorer looks like a little, like folders, actually, a little icon of a folders. And I know that it's right under here. It's right under homework. Here it is. And this is where I could now right click or secondary click. That's the two fingers separated. And I could hit compress. So I can do it here. Okay, now, if you're like, oh, I can't seem to find it, I'm having a hard time finding it, well, then what I want you to do is come here in PyCharm on the folder, right click, secondary click, and in here, notice that there is an option called Open In. And if you're on Mac, it'll say Open in Finder. If you're on a computer running Windows operating system, it's going to say Open in Explorer. Already does it for you. So now we say, I'm going to open it up in Finder. And what happens is it actually opens it up, right? It pops it open and it says, and it's actually selected that you're selected that folder. So now here is where we can compress. You can choose to like open this pull down here if you want, right? If you're on a Mac, another thing you can do is display how to see this. I like using columns because then I can like verify that that py file is actually there. Now, if you don't have your settings open, you may not see the .py. It may just have a little thing showing it's a Python file. But I have my settings for Finder to show the file extensions. Okay, so I can come here, do that secondary click, and say compress. So I'm going to hit compress. It's going to create a zip file. It may also pop open a new Finder window. That's fine too. There we go. It's existing. This is what we now want to upload to Brightspace. So I can actually at this point close or minimize, just minimize the PyCharm. And now we actually want to bring up Brightspace. So here I'm going to bring in my Brightspace window. Okay, and I'm going to come in here. There's my Brightspace window, right? I still here see my Explorer or Finder. I'm on Mac, so Finder or Explorer for you. Now I'm going to go to one of my sections. So I haven't submitted in my GOAT section yet, so I'm going to click on that section. And following, so that was the second to last step in the homework instructions. The last step says upload the zip file to Brightspace. And I want you to realize that this is what we've done is we've compressed a folder, but it's created a zip file, and that's what we upload. So following the instructions, we click on activities. You can also use content, by the way, but either way, I'm going to follow using activities, click on assignments. Then we find the assignment we want to submit, homework 1, we click on that. And now what we need to do is add a file. So we are going to click on the add a file button, right? Then the my computer option. And now here we can choose to click on the upload, which will we then have to navigate to our zip file. Alternatively, so if you click on it, you have to navigate and find it, right? You have to say, oh, okay, it's over here, it's here, homework. And then I click on the zip and I click on the open. If you're still having a hard time, one thing you can do is if you have your Explorer still open, you can drag it. So we can come here and drag it into that dashed area, let go, there we have, and then we hit the add button. And now we have submitted, we've submitted our, well, almost, we've added our zip file, and now we hit submit and we submit it. We have submitted our thing. Yay, looks great. Hit done, right? You'll even get an email. If you ever want to, you can, if you say, oh, I made a change and I want to submit again, you are welcome to. Just know you are welcome to add a file again. We will grade your last submission. And if you submit it after the due date, there will be penalties, right? The late penalties that are described in our lecture slides from the first week, as well as in the syllabus. And there you go. That is how you configure PyCharm and and compress your project and actually submit it on Brightspace. I hope that was helpful.